Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the Tears to Hope relay took place this past weekend. The Kitimat RCMP recently took part in a multi-day community event, and we look at BC's still ongoing low snowpack situation.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Maslin, and here's what's making news in the Northwest and beyond today. The Tears to Hope relay got underway this past weekend with runners taking on 10-kilometer legs of Northwest BC highways to support the organization that's encouraging public understanding and raising awareness about missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls on the Highway of Tears. CFTK-TV was there for the event's wrap-up.
It was an honor to watch, them pushing through, because some had stopped and were like, man, I don't know if I can, but they did it. And I'm so honored to be here amongst the runners, the families. I know a lot of family members that have missing loved ones. I personally have missing family members, murdered family members. So it really means a lot to be here to support Lorna and Denise and the families.
First and foremost, I'm a family member. My cousin Tamara Chipman went missing on the Highway of Tears just outside of Prince Rupert in September 2005. So this September will be 20 years that she's been missing, and we don't have any answers as to where she disappeared. It's an honor to do this work, to have so many allies amongst us, so many family members. It's not work that we chose to do, it's work that chose us, and it's heart work. It's heart work that we do right to the bottom of our heart.
Mine is, her name was Joyce Marie Cardinal. She was beaten and doused with gasoline in Edmonton in 1993. She passed away a few days later, and we are one of the lucky ones that got justice. The guy happened to be at a party bragging about what he did, and somebody was like, is this guy for real, right? Called it in, and that's how they caught him. And he went to prison for he got life. And, we're lucky. There's so many families across BC, across Canada that don't have that don't even know where their loved ones are. We're lucky. It's sick to even say that we're lucky to have justice, but that's the reality for a lot of families across Canada.
In their latest weekly report, the Kitimat RCMP talked about a recent multi-day community event that they attended amongst their usual reporting of crimes that they encountered in the past week. The police detachment was invited to go to Haisla Days in Kitimat Village on May 17th and 18th, and throughout those 2 days, officers took part in a few different events, one of which was called Paint the Police Vehicle, where a police truck was used as a canvas for the attending artists of all ages. And while the art that was put onto the vehicle was complimented by the Kitimat RCMP, the truck had to be washed off once the event was over so that it could be properly returned to service. The City of Prince Rupert's Recreation and Community Services Department recently announced the launch of what is being called the FlexFit Mobility Program. This is the second enhanced mobility program that Prince Rupert has created, and this program is said to be a 7-week-long series of inclusive adaptive recreational activities that was made to help seniors and people with mobility problems. The program is set to start this Wednesday from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Prince Rupert Library. Coming up next, a retired Court of Appeal justice made a ruling in a case about a woman's death. Welcome back. Over to Sinjin Alexander now with a detailed update on the still ongoing issues involving the low snowpack levels on BC's mountains and a look at what problems it could end up causing in the future.
Think of all of this as a freshwater savings account. We make snow and rain deposits throughout the winter to ensure there's enough water in the bank when it's hot and dry in the summer. Unfortunately, we haven't been saving as much as we used to.
It's not great. It's quite low compared to average.
This will gradually melt. feeding our rivers, ensuring fish thrive, that we have enough drinking water, can look after our gardens and generate hydro.
When we are losing our snowpack at the rate that we are right now, or if we aren't accumulating it like we have been in the past, we just don't have the savings anymore to be able to get us through the summer and into the fall.
The latest stats from the government are not terrific. If BC normally has $10 in that snowbank, right now it has $6. The South Coast and Vancouver Island, less than $5.
The concern is that, if we get another heat dome like we had a few years ago, or, another prolonged drought, which we're seeing more and more of as our climate warms, that things could get bad.
We are doing slightly better than last year, but that was the worst on record since the 70s. And we're worse off than 2023, the year of that devastating drought.
But it is too early to light our hair on fire. We could have a decent amount of rain over the next couple months and low temperatures, and we could be okay.
They suggest serious discussions need to be had on finding new ways to capture water, and maybe charging everyone for its use. For now, all eyes are on June, hoping it has a lot of rain to spend. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Nanaimo's water treatment plant is located in an area that's vulnerable to wildfires, and CTV's Andy Garland has a report talking about an invention that was created for the purpose of helping protect buildings from flames.
In a wooded area just outside Nanaimo is the city's water treatment plant.
It's an address of importance. It's got high value.
If there were to be a wildfire in the area, the $70 million facility has been flagged as a critical piece of infrastructure by the city.
If this plant went offline, it kind of creates a public health emergency. So we're just creating a water treatment plant protection plan using Fireboss sprinklers.
The Fireboss is a Nanaimo-born invention that has been around for nearly a decade, which can be rapidly deployed to help protect structures from wildland fire.
It's like a sprinkler on steroids, basically, and you're able to daisy the units together to create a massive wet line in mere minutes.
For coming up to the water treatment plant, using 8 firefighters, we probably have this whole system set up with water showing in probably 20 minutes.
Each sprinkler can cover an area up to 100 meters in diameter, which Nanaimo Fire Rescue says creates a humidity dome around the protecting structure, making the environment less extreme.
What it does is when the embers are flying from a nearby wildfire, it lands in basically moisture. Where if you didn't have a Fireboss sprinkler, it'd be landing in an organic material.
Fireboss says 300 fire departments in Western Canada have their sprinkler systems, including during Jasper's wildfire last year, where an incredible photo shows the effectiveness of protecting homes and structures.
Around the western part of Jasper, the area that those cannons were deployed survived. Where the cannon line stopped, everything else burnt.
In the wake of more and more wildfires impacting communities back east and south of the border, demand for the Fireboss is on the rise.
We're seeing a lot of interest in the U.S. market, especially in the wake of what happened in Palisades Fire.
An island innovation in demand around the world that could just save a local water supply if flames rage this summer. Andy Garland, CTV News, Nanaimo.
It's a haunting 911 call that was made the night of a deadly hit and run in Surrey that saw a man dragged more than a kilometer. The call was played in court as the 2 people accused of the crime are being sentenced, and now that audio has been released by the judge. Michelle Rodoro has more, and a warning: some viewers may find this story disturbing.
Part of the 911 call was played in court at the sentencing hearing for 2 men who pleaded guilty in connection with the hit and run that killed a 45-year-old father and husband. The incident unfolded January 27th of last year. Surveillance video showing the red Mustang involved. And even before the hit and run happens, a witness calls 911 trying to get help after spotting something unusual, a man lying in the middle of the road. But as a witness provides details to a dispatcher,
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my.
What happened?
Oh, someone just hit him. Right over him.
I need to know if he's awake and if he's breathing.
Oh my God, where is he?
the Mustang was being driven by this man, Gaganpreet Singh. His passenger, who the car belonged to, was Jagdeep Singh. Crown says both men got out of the car. The witness, still being recorded on 911, calls out to them.
There's a man underneath your car, man.
But the Mustang speeds off anyway. Meanwhile, the 911 operator asking the witness to check on the victim gets this response.
Can't find him. That's the thing. He got dragged. 100% he got dragged.
Court heard this week that the victim, only being identified as JG at the family's request, was dragged 1.3 kilometers before the Mustang pulls into a cul-de-sac. The Singhs then working together to dislodge JG's badly mangled body from under the car. Both offenders have pleaded guilty to several charges, including failing to stop after an accident and interference with a dead body. They came to Canada on international student visas and will face a deportation hearing after sentencing. Crown is asking for 4 years prison for Jagdeep and 3 years for Gaganpreet. A judge will hand down a decision on July 16th. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Surrey.
A ruling has been made by a retired Court of Appeal justice about a case involving a Victoria Police Department officer and the death of a woman back in late 2019. CTV's Adam McMillan has this story.
Retired Court of Appeal Justice Wally Opal has ruled a member of the Victoria Police Department abused his authority during a call at this supportive housing facility on Christmas Day in 2019. The finding is tied to Lisa Rausch, who died after she was hit by plastic projectiles from an Arwin, or anti-riot weapon, fired by Sergeant Ron Kirkwood.
We had spent time preparing ourselves for a different decision, so this one is welcomed.
Rausch's family and many members of the police department were present for the decision, which follows a public hearing ordered by the Office of the Police Complaint Commissioner.
It was shocking to us. Never thought it would happen.
Today, the retired justice recounted the fatal incident, noting police were called to the housing facility because Rausch was intoxicated, had a kitchen knife, and was threatening a resident before locking herself in a suite. Police saw smoke coming from the unit and evacuated that floor. Witnesses shared attempts to get Rausch to come to the door were unsuccessful, so a team of officers and firefighters eventually went inside, worried about the fire hazard.
This was a dynamic scene like no other. There was reference made to seconds. There's fire alarms that are going off in the building. There's reduced visibility. There's talk about the fire and the urgency to get into that suite.
Ultimately, it was the poor visibility caused by smoke that led to Opal's decision. Multiple officers testified that once they got in the room, they could only see a few feet in front of them. The retired justice says it was reckless to fire the Arwin when Kirkwood did not have a clear sight line. Kirkwood testified he thought he was firing at Rausch's abdomen. In reality, the rounds hit her in the head and neck.
When there's a situation like this, de-escalate.
The Independent Investigations Office previously looked at this case and found no wrongdoing. A coroner's inquest is expected to come next. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
And now we take a look at both your nightly and weekly weather forecast. On the north coast, the forecast for tonight projects to see some rain and a low of 9 degrees, while the rest of the week expects to be cloudy and rainy for the most part, with possibly a little sun mixed in and a high shifting from 14 to 11 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, tonight's forecast predicts a few showers and a low of 7 degrees, while the weekly forecast should see lots of rain and clouds too, while their high moves from 20 to 12 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, their weather for tonight will get a chance of showers and a low at 5 degrees, while their weather for the rest of the week will include mostly mixed sun and cloud days with some potential rain and a high bouncing between 14 and 26 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. On Highway 16, they have bridge maintenance, shoulder maintenance, utility work, and road sweeping. Highway 118 has roadside brushing and shoulder maintenance. Highway 37 has frost heaves and bridge construction. Highway 37A is dealing with falling rocks between west of Isiadin and east of Stewart. And the Nishka Highway has some bridge maintenance as well. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come is an inspirational story of a young man overcoming being wheelchair-bound to take part in a marathon. Welcome back. Now we look at an inspiring story of a young man overcoming being bound to a wheelchair as he got prepared to participate in a marathon. Alicia Fieldberg of CTV News has more of the details.
24-year-old Rylan LaPlante is training for a 10-kilometer walk, but 8 months ago he couldn't even take one step. He was 12 years old when he began using a wheelchair due to a rare genetic condition, which made him unable to use his arms, legs, even his voice for a while.
The lowest I was I couldn't talk, I couldn't feed myself, couldn't bathe, it was, very, very difficult.
He was an athlete before his diagnosis in 2012 and was determined to get back on his feet.
Starting to coin the term of a delusionally optimistic.
What always impressed me and still does to this day is that his determination of I know that my statistical chance is low, but I'm not willing to stop until I've tried every possible thing.
In the fall, LaPlante had surgery and therapy in Texas, which allowed him to take steps again and quickly set new goals.
5 steps on Halloween, then turned into 20, turned into 100, and now turned into the 10K.
He has been training for 4 months, and though he has not yet attempted walking 10 kilometers, aims to finish in about 3 hours. LaPlante is raising money for Alberta Children's Hospital, where he was a patient for 7 years.
The Vi Riddell Pain Clinic at the Children's Hospital really helped me at my lowest.
He hopes the steps he takes can make a difference for people facing similar challenges.
They may be at their low, and have that clinic give them a little bit of hope so that, 12 years down the line, who knows what they can achieve.
As for him, he's already set his new goal.
Calgary Stampede's right around the corner, so one of the big things I have a goal for is to 2-step during that.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
It's being called both fun and terrifying, a new wave of AI-generated videos where the machines create not just the picture but the sound as well. And as CTV's John Venavelli-Rao shows you, it's raising questions about what to believe.
Let's talk.
So, what are we going to talk about now?
We can talk.
The new AI videos are striking, not just because of how good they look.
I make videos using VO3, yeah.
But how they sound. All of these people AI fabricated, and they can say whatever the user can dream up.
Imagine all the narrative possibilities.
Until now, such video clips were silent. One well-known AI researcher asking for a Broadway musical about garlic bread, typing in the request.
Garlic bread, my heart's true desire.
I got chills down to the base of my spine when I first saw this because the usual tells that AI generated this video were nowhere on display. Impossible to see.
Google this week unveiling its latest video generator that for now can create clips up to 8 seconds long. Text to video was first introduced publicly less than 3 years ago, but back then the results were low res and hardly convincing.
It's so over.
Now the lip movement matches sounds, and it's hard to tell it's fake.
And the moon
It is exciting, sort of these technological advances, but I think that this poses some pretty severe threats.
It's like they don't understand. Experts say now more than ever, people will need to be skeptical of videos posted by an unknown account. Google says it does embed invisible markers to help identify if video is AI generated.
There's efforts, well-meaning efforts by the tech companies to watermark AI-generated video, but that's always going to be something that can be defeated.
With flips not yet available in Canada, American users have been posting all sorts of videos as we plow into some messy and muddy, uncharted waters. John Venavelli-Rao, CTV News.
In Washington state, the search is on for a rare bird that managed to sneak out of her habitat at a zoo outside of Seattle. Here's ABC's Rhiannon Ali with more of the details.
This is the last known photo of the juvenile East African crowned crane. It escaped its enclosure at the Cougar Mountain Zoo near Seattle earlier this week.
This is pretty exciting, isn't it?
This is the biggest thing since the zebras got loose in North Bend.
Zoo officials say it was last spotted yesterday morning around Lake Sammamish State Park and then flew east.
They're beautiful. And they can fly, so I don't know how you keep them in a zoo.
We called them Phyllis Diller birds years ago, the first time I saw them because of the hair.
Art Charity used to live in Africa and says that's what Americans called these cranes since their crown resembles the hairstyle of the late Phyllis Diller. Everyone on the lookout, but no luck yet finding the rare crane.
Lots of eagles, but no cranes.
Are you going to look for a crane today?
I'm looking today.
Okay. What would you do if you see it?
I'm going to contact the zoo and let them know their missing crane has been found.
2 years ago, Flacco the owl became a celebrity in New York City, evading capture for more than a year after a group of vandals left a hole in Flacco's enclosure at the Central Park Zoo. As for Washington's missing crane, zoo officials warn not to approach her. Notify the zoo immediately. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
And now we turn our attention to how the stock markets are looking as of today compared to the end of last week. The Canadian dollar is up 13.10 cents. The price of gold is down $27.70. Oil is down 7 cents. Natural gas is down 4 cents. Aluminum is down $10. In Toronto, the TSX is up 193.18 points. The Venture Index is up 11.11. In New York, the Dow Jones is the same as last week, and it's the same with the NASDAQ. Still ahead, some teens had a night that they'll likely remember forever, and in more ways than one. Welcome back. What was supposed to be an unforgettable night at prom turned into an unforgettable night of heroism for a group of teens who helped alert a family to a fire. And a motorcycle-riding dog had a run-in with the police. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth with Take a Look at This.
Watch a group of high school prom goers in New York heroically alert a family to a raging garage fire.
Your house is on fire! Your house is on fire!
Aiden Kane and his friends were headed to an after-prom party when they say they spotted an orange glow they thought was a bonfire. But the teens quickly realized it was a garage fully engulfed in flames and ran to the house to alert a man and 2 girls still inside.
You guys gotta get out.
The group was able to get the family to safety before fire officials arrived to tackle the blaze. The family, who was not injured, says they are grateful for the teens' help, and WKTV reports the Maynard Fire Department took it a step further, calling the group heroes. Speaking of heroes, check out the daring actions of police in New Jersey who rushed to pull a driver from a vehicle stopped in the path of a speeding train. Police say the driver was impaired and unable to get out of the car on his own, so as the oncoming train's horn blared, officers pulled him from the vehicle mere moments before it was plowed into by the speeding locomotive. Yikes. Finally, another police vehicle interaction caught on camera in Australia was less harrowing and more just doggone dumbfounding. The Sunshine Coast Highway Patrol spotted a motorbike rider with a fairly large dog strapped upright to their chest. The officer cited the driver, saying even though the dog seemed content on the bike, and it certainly did, the crazy getup could place the rider, the pooch, or other motorists at risk. The department later shared the Rough Rider vid, saying, "We know how attached people are to their pets, but it's best to apply a paws-off approach on our roads." For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's all our news for now. From everyone at CFTK-TV News, I'm Kale Maslin, and thanks for watching.